Hello guys, this is Foxdrop with another commentary, full game commentary. This game is going to be featuring an Amumu. His name in game is Mogstack, but he has his own YouTube channel, which is called Mamakill. I'll be linking that in the description and stuff like that. You should check him out. Thank you very much for donating this video to me. So, getting started. First off, as I always do, let's just look at the picks first. He's picked Amumu. He's picked Amumu and his enemy jungler is Malphite, so they're both not very good at invading the jungle. There's nothing special about these guys invading. They're both kind of iffy gankers until level 6, and once they get level 6 they're very, very strong gankers, so we're looking for a lot of attention after they get level 6. But let's see his lanes. Vladimir's going to be mid, so Vlad is actually pretty difficult to gank for, especially against an Orianna, because Vlad doesn't really have any CC whatsoever. He does have his pull, but that's a bit of a... It's not as good a CC as some other stuff, like just a good stun. His Jax top versus Riven, that matchup is actually fairly even. Riven's one of those champions like Aurelia who doesn't actually lose any top matchups like innately. If you're a good Riven player, then you probably can win every single lane you're up against. But I think this should be a fairly even matchup, and this should be where a lot of attention will be going. Either one of these could snowball out of control if they're given an advantage. They're both pretty easy to gank for. If you think about it, even from Malphite's point of view, it's easy to gank for a Riven. It's easy to gank for a Jax, and they're both very slippery though at the same time, so it could be difficult. So he's going to have to choose his timing very, very carefully as to when he wants to gank, else the gank could be pretty unsuccessful. Bot lane, he's got Ez Taric. That seems like a very, very stompy lane. Taric is very, very easy to gank for. As a jungler, the easiest support to gank for is Taric, because of his stun is just, there's no way of messing up a stun. In theory, Leona is even better to gank for, but people often like mess up the E, or they miss their R or something like that. With Taric, there's no missing anything. You click your stun on someone and they're stunned. However, Grey's Alistair, they've got quite a lot of CC there, quite a lot of things to peel them away from any gank, but as soon as Ali gets 6, he's going to be really, really hard to actually kill, depending on where the lane is. They're not going to be able to burst him down, that's for sure, when he gets 6. Graves possibly, but this is really just going to be, I think top lane might be a really, really volatile place here. Everywhere else is a bit iffy, but it's solo queue, and in solo queue anything can happen, it doesn't matter. Picks, in my opinion, aren't that big a deal in solo queue because it all comes down to game style. This, Riven could be, in theory, like a really good pick versus Jax, but if he's not a good Riven player, then it's not going to be, Jax is just going to beat Riven flat out. That's all there is to it. This Malphite, again, Malphite is often banned, especially at lower elos, but across all elos really. I see him banned at 2k as well. And if he's not banned, people might be, oh crap, this guy isn't banned, we can pick him. And so he picks him. No one really is that very good with him, but because he's OP, so to speak, they pick him and they play him, and it's not very effective. So we'll see how the game evolves. There's really not, I don't want to say too much about picks, because like I say, the game will really depict what is going to happen, not the picks themselves. So, talking a bit about runes and masteries for Amumu, there's really two different ways to play Amumu. There's like, what I like to call like the Azingi way of playing him, which obviously was popularized by Azingi on the NA servers, and it's really where it's a pretty balls deep Amumu build where you're doing a lot of damage. You max your Q, so you do insane damage in ganks. You get Sork boots, Dawn's rings, Sunfire Cape, that kind of stuff. I've tried it out. I think it's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad build, but for my personal playstyle, it's okay. It can really work, but if you're behind, then it can really not work as well. If you're a better Amumu player, Azingi's a much better Amumu player than I am, you can kind of avoid the situations where it might not be as effective. But if he did go for that build, I went something like 9. Oh man, it was something really ugly. It was like 9. I can't 9, 14, 7 or something like that. It was really, really weird. I got spell pen in offense. I got mana regen in utility, and then I just got all the defensive stats I could in defensive. On the other hand, you can just build a tank, go for a tank Amumu. And this was actually showcased a lot more in the IPL 5, which was recently. In Meluno specifically, I saw he would max his E, and he was just very tanky. He'd buy things like Merc Treads, he'd get double gold per 10, and just go, and then an Aegis or something like that, and just go very, very tanky, which is a good way of playing him as well. I think that's a safer way to play, but regardless, however you play Amumu, you're going to be useful whenever you have your ult up in team fights, so that's why Amumu is a pretty good pick. And for Masteries in that instance, like 0-21-9 is a pretty good choice. Anyway, moving on into the game. Amumu has started with Boots 3, sorry, that's pretty standard. His Jax is, okay, this is an inverted UI, this is very, very peculiar. It might throw me off a bit, but we'll see, we should be okay. Jax has asked what he needs to buy first, Cloth Armor or Boots 3. Now if I were this Jax, I'd just go Boots 3 because their Malphite is going to be starting at blue buff, which means he's going to be top of level 3, roughly, something like that, and if he doesn't have boots, he can get ganked really easily. I always go boots because move speed is just really, really strong, especially top lane because it's a very long lane and hard to escape. Cloth Armor is better, I suppose, for Riven, but like I said, boots is always the best choice. It looks like they might actually go for an invade here. Invades are never very good for Amumu specifically because the only spell which is useful for invading is the one that you don't want to level up when you're jungling, but they should have enough to not even need it. And this Graves is not paying any attention. Tara gets a stun. Okay, he's leveled his Q. I don't think he needs to level his Q. He takes first blood. Taking first blood is never that big a deal on a jungler. Whenever you give yourself an advantage early, then that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, because Amumu has leveled up his bandage toss, he's gonna need a lot of help. He needs a blue buff. They're gonna stay for this one and go. Alright, it looks like they might. Okay, so they're going to their own blue buff here. But yeah, he's going to need a lot of help, probably from Jax, to take this blue buff down because he doesn't have a decent ability to do it himself. He's going to get this pretty late, I think. Maybe, I don't know, he might get it on time, but because Jax is going to have to help him, Jax is going to lose out a bit. And Malphite's actually dead his blue buff. That was a bit hesitant, they don't really know what to do here. I know Oriana's here as well, Riven's there, they should just back off here. They're backing off, apart from Jax, who's not backing off. Jax is very okay. They just need to stop this. Just don't bother, just get your blue buff, else you're going to be too far behind. Alright, Jax needs to help this Amumu, but it's really late, so this Amumu's not going to get any help, and this is going to really, really slow this jungle down. When you start Boots 3 on Amumu, then you're going to be taking a lot of damage. He's smarted early. This is something you should do. I said in my last video, you should always time your smite with the basic attack swing, which is going to take the buff down to below what your smite damage does. So basically, you want to finish off things with smite. He actually did something quite smart there, which was to kite the blue buff around and wait for his Q to be up, so he wouldn't die, and he really doesn't want to die there. But like I say, he's used 2 potions and he's on 200 health. And he's having to go back already. That's not very good. He's going to be really, really far behind here. When you're jungling, you want to get level 6 by 7 minutes. So when your second blue buff spawns, preferably you want to be level 6 as you kill that. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve that. We'll see if he gets some ganks off and stuff like that. Then he might be able to compensate a little bit. But yeah, this is not really a very good start. You got first blood, but I don't even think it's worth it, to be honest. He's really, really far behind. Like right now, he should be level 3 with double buff, and Jax has just died top. That's going to be really bad actually for top lane because this Riven, like I say, is going to snowball really well. And the fact that Jax was asking questions in the beginning what to buy was kind of disheartening because it suggests that he doesn't really know what he's doing. Oh wow, and bot lane's actually... Wow, they almost caught Malphite out there, blue, that's really good. That's really, really screwing Malphite over. And this Amumu can just, like, his AoE clear is really bad because he's got his Q. He should be going down to help bot here. Don't worry about these 2 creeps, you're getting 8 gold from him. He should be rushing over to bot. He doesn't even look like, okay, now he's aware that bot's happening. Oh, that was just a basic attack, whatever was going to happen. If Graves could have basically got the kill, but instead Ev's got it, so that's really good. But because he was actually quite late here, don't bother, Amumu, please. Yeah, he was a bit too late here. Now Oriana's face checking. That was a good bandage. Yeah, she flashed away. That was good. Through the flash. But like I say, he should have been more aware of that was happening. It should have helped bot out a bit earlier. That would have been a bit smoother. But as it happened, it wasn't that bad. But like I said at the beginning, this guy should be level 6 at 7 minutes. He's now level 2, 5 minutes in, so he's a bit behind. And by a bit, I mean this guy is very, very far behind. It all really started because of the invade, which made them a bit late, and because Jax didn't help him enough. He had to level up his Q, and Jax didn't help him. Now he's got his E, he should be a bit faster clearing. He doesn't have any potions left, but he does have a regrowth. He should be able to clear out a few small camps. Maybe, okay, he's got his smite up. Don't smite these race and use your smite on golems. Okay, he's smited race. It's not that big a deal, I guess. If he's going to go back here. Yeah, he's going back here, okay. When he goes back, he's going to finish his Philo Stone, which is good, and he should probably be buying like a ward, maybe 2 health potions. He needs to help. Jack's actually doing pretty well top, but it could, one thing goes wrong, and yeah, this is a good buy by Amumu. A good item builds here. It'd be interesting to see where he places these wards. A lot of people buy wards, but they don't actually put them in very good positions. If I were this guy, I'd definitely put one at the Wraith camp. And I don't know if their blue is still up or not. On the minimap it says it's up, but I didn't see whether, when they evaded Malphite, whether he actually got it and stuff. On this fight, but yeah, there's nothing. Amumu doesn't need to be here. He's wasting a lot of time like doing nothing. Their blue buff is still up. That is pretty insane. 6.5 minutes in. I don't know what this Malphite's been doing. He must be having a really, really bad time. If this isn't warded bot either, this could be fairly free. Amumu isn't exactly very fast at doing buffs. But if there's nothing here to stop him, it doesn't matter. And he's got his smite up, so he's going to get this for free, which is really good. This is going to help him. But he just leveled to 4 and we're 7 minutes in when he should be level 6. Like I say, I know I've said that a few times now, but this is just just when you're pacing yourself. If you find yourself behind like this Amumu's doing, you should just stop. He's trying to do too much, like PvP, so to speak. He should be jungling and farming. His experience bar is literally, he's just hit level 4 and we're 720. He's trying to gank top, but this isn't going to work. Like, if Riven was just sitting in this bush right here, Riven would one-shot Amumu. With Ignite, she'd just kill him. And Jax wouldn't be able to take her down. So, it's very risky, he's wasting time, he just needs to farm. Look how much, he's got loads of creeps up, he's still got his red buff up as well, which is a lot of XP. Over half a level if you're level 4. Definitely. And instead he's trying to counter jungle, he puts a ward down at race, which is good. He's put some pretty good wards down. He hasn't wasted those wards. And got a good bandage toss here, but nothing, there was just no... He's not level 6, so he can't, like I said, Vlad doesn't have the CC. And if Amumu's not level 6, they don't have the burst to compensate for the lack of CC to actually get that kill. So that was just a waste of time. He didn't even blow a flash or anything, he just... it's not a bad idea to always... if you gank somewhere, then you're showing your presence. Which is never bad, but when you're this far behind, you don't want to be playing those games, you just want to be farming. Like Amumu just took his red buff 8 minutes in for the first time, that's about 5 minutes too late. And he's not even level 5 yet. He's very almost, okay, he's level 5 off his race. And Riven's just killed Jax again top. And this could be very, very ugly. If Riven starts snowballing, considering how far behind Amumu is, he might not really be able to even help this Jax out too much. So if he gets really, really far behind, then that could spell pretty much disaster. And in that case, I wouldn't even bother going top. If things get really, really hairy top, if this Riven starts going bonkers, I just wouldn't bother because I just go bot because bot is a lot easier. Their bot is kind of winning. Ezreal is winning, and so there's no need. If you try and get Ezreal fed or stronger, then he can deal with Riven. Rather than trying to stop Riven getting strong, you should just try and get your carry strong as well to be able to deal with them. That's what I'd be thinking at. His Malphite is level 4, he's doing even worse than Amumu. He's missed his bandage toss and he doesn't know where Orianna is and he's on really, really low health and this Malphite has red buff. This could be Okay, if he lost double buff there, that would be pretty ugly. One thing that's good though is that he's playing with Vlad. Okay, Riven's missed her ult, which means she's not going to get this kill. And they got a Malphite, but now he's dead. Yeah, that was... Like I said, Orianna was missing. They didn't know. He says in chat, no idea why I did that. He knows. He knows he shouldn't have done that. But yeah, Orianna was just missing too long. He was on too low health. He just kind of wanted... He almost got baited by his own teammate. I don't want to blame his team for that, but... Like, it was kind of like he wanted to help his team out too much, which is really like the story of this game so far. We're 10-22 in, and the story of this game is Amumu's trying to do too much. He's trying to help his lanes too much. He's even lower level than the support, which is often the lowest level characters in the game. That's not very good. He's just got his ult, 10 minutes 40. He's 3 minutes behind, which is pretty good. That he's like a third of that time behind. But now he's got his ult, he should be able to do a lot more ganks. So now, because this guy really does want to spend like, a lot of time helping his lanes out, now that he's got his ult, it's unlikely that he's gonna waste a lot of that time, because he's probably gonna be more successful. I don't think he's going to be able to get a gank mid, to be honest. This Orianna's going to be way too slippery. I would be diving bot right here. Like I said, I don't think there's much to do top, but I'm going to eat my words because they don't need a dive. Because bot is just winning so hard 2-on-2 that they're actually zoning them out from under their own tower. This could be really good if he gets his ult off. Does Vlad have his ult? Vlad does have his ult. But Vlad's being caught out too bad, and now Malphite's here. Didn't need to flash because he's dead. And he's dead. Yeah. How did she continue after being ulted? I was kind of wondering that as well, actually. It was like she was jumping in midair while she was snared. But it definitely did hit her, because she kind of got snared for a few seconds like after, but she didn't get snared when she should have got something weird like that. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. That was a bit of a... Like I said, Riven... I said it would be all down to this top, and so far really it is about top. Their bot lane is winning really hard, which is good, which is giving this game hope. But this Riven has just... She's dominated top, and she's... Malphite with a cheeky smite there. I don't know why he did that, but... You know, he's multitasking, he's injuring the cannons while he's doing the gonks, so... A guy's a multitasker, must be a woman gamer. Female gamer. 10% of the player base are female. We found our female in this game. It's Malphite. I would, right here. This is a good thing for the Amumu. It's bad for Jax, the fact that he's going to lose all this CS to the tower. But this is good for Amumu because he's going to be able to soak up all this XP, all this gold. Okay, I say gold, but he misses quite a lot of those, although he maybe got 70%, which isn't bad for a Moon on the tower. I'd kind of be... Bot is really where this game is at right now. Late game, this team has a really, really, really strong late game. Vlad is really good late game. Jax is really good late game. And Amumu just with his ult alone, and his Q for his engage, really, team fights. It really, really does well in team fights, and late game is where like team fights happen. Ez is an AD, so he's always good late game. Not as good as someone like Cogmore, something like that. But yeah, like I said, I would just be focusing bot right now. I'd be snowballing the crap out of this bot lane, even if Graves isn't worth that much. It doesn't look like bot really needs his help either. But if they can get dragged, yeah, if his bot is stronger, which means that if he does gank bot, then these dragon plays are really free. Just presume that this bot lane wasn't winning. Say they're doing well, but they weren't actually killing these guys 2-on-2, which is what they shouldn't be doing. Imagine if they weren't doing that, and all of those plays were Amumu. Then this is what would happen as a result. You'd be taking dragon because of Amumu. Now, as it turns out, it's not quite like that, because he's very lucky with his teammates, well, with his bot lane this game. Donating red buff over to Ezreal is a really, really good idea here. Really good. Just like I say, anything you can do to keep this bot lane to keep bot strong and winning the game for them. he should have timed that dragon. He's got timestamps, which is really good in chat. If you look, 14:15, Amumu has slain the dragon. So plus 6 minutes for dragon. 20:15 is when dragon is going to respawn. Now we'll see at 20:15 if anyone's paying any attention to that dragon spawn. I'm going to hazard a guess here that no one is going to be aware that dragon spawns at 20:15. I may eat my words again in this video. I've already done it once, so I could do it again, but I'm just going to hazard a guess and say that's what's going to happen. Now as he's going back for a third time here, I just want to comment on his build. He got double Dorans, like I said, was a okay build. He went Philo and then double Dorans. It was a bit overkill on the mana regen side, but it makes him a bit tankier with the health from Dorans, a bit more damage with the AP from Dorans. Vlad is going to die mid here. Oh no, he's not. Last tick of Ignite. GG, he survives, that was good. And again, free farm from Mumu, which is nice considering how far behind he was. This is kind of what he needs to get back in the game. Anyway, when he did go back, he bought Ninja Tabby, 2 health potions, and a ruby crystal. Now, I'm not entirely sure what he's going to build with that ruby crystal, sorry. But I'm going to hope it's an Aegis. I think it's a bit too late to get Heart Gold here. Maybe it's a Kindle Gem for Shirelia's, though I would be surprised if that's his game. Okay, he's been seen going in that, but he should have just rambled up to the lane if he really wanted that, but I don't think there's any play to be made. He would have just wasted his ult because Riven would have been way too slippery. I don't think Jax has double Dorans. There's no way he's strong enough to... Like I said, he really shouldn't bother. The only way he can kill top right now is if top tries to tower dive Jax, and then they get a counter gank off on that, which will be really, really good. Vlad has just killed Orianna mid. I don't know how that happens, to be honest, because he just got ganked and was put on no health. This Vlad has been... I wouldn't say he's been camped, but he's definitely felt the jungle presence a lot, and top presence for that matter. Riven has been coming top a lot. So he should be losing his lane, but he's doing really well. So his mid and his bot are doing well. It's really, his top isn't doing overly well. Oh wow. Riven dashes into the bandage toss and they blow Riven's ult. It's not that successful, but it's not that big a deal. One thing what I will say is good about this Jax here is that, first off, he hasn't raged, and no one has raged at him either, which is really, really good. Like, this Vlad could have easily gone batshit on this Jax for letting Riven like roll all over his lane, but he didn't say a word, which is really good. And Jax has also got that tower really, really low from when Riven was roaming. So that means that that's really good as well. So apart from, kind of not doing too well in lane, Jax is kind of, making up for a little bit there. In late game, we'll see what he does. Like, if he starts making plays and stuff like that, then that can be really good. There was actually like a bit of a fight bot, but I didn't, his camera wasn't on it, so I didn't see what happened. But it looked to be pretty well in their favour. Only Ezreal died. And they're picking up some kills. They're taking towers here, which is really, really strong. Yeah, just... taking towers is good, especially mid tower, because it gives you a lot of presence over the map, and they can start watch for loads more plays to be happening now. They need to start putting loads of wards in the enemy jungle, like this ward here, point in case, sees Orianna, bit of a waste of a flash, but whatever, Orianna's dead. Once you've got that tower down, if you put wards deep in the enemy jungle, then you're kind of like, the map is kind of 50-50 as to what's purple side and what's blue side, but when you start taking towers, it's like that map kind of edges a little bit. It starts expanding, and right now, if they were starting to like deep ward, all of the outer towers are down, which means that this map is more like a 70-30 in favour of Amumu's team. That Ezreal is definitely not in a happy place, and he is dead. Just quiet a little bit there. Again, vision would be very useful, but this is a game where Oracles is always very, very good on junglers, but right here I think Amumu should be farming like his race on his walls. I don't think anything's happening mid. Without Ezreal, they'd be very pushed to make a play specifically because Ez is really, really fed. Taric is warding and Taric has an Oracles, that's really good. If Amumu had got an Oracles this game, I think it would be, well, it's always good to get an Oracles, I think, if you've got the money, but he didn't really farm a lot of the jungle at all, and he was never in a position where he could say to himself, yeah, I can get this Oracles, and I'm most likely not going to die with it on. This game has been pretty, both the junglers have been very, very frail this game. Part of that was due to the invade and stuff. Invade's really been the name of the game against Malphite specifically because bot lane invaded him and kind of screwed him over too. But they're going for a Baron here, and Amumu can't tank this. He's got like no health, no armor. He's got 1.6k health and 119 armor. It's not a lot of resist at all. That's 30 AP. I mean, his build right now, Amumu's got he's pretty useless, but because of the character he's playing, he's still very useful because of his ult. And Ez needs to stop going for these 1-for-1 trades. He's playing very, very balls deep, very, very deathmatch like, where he's just going for kills, going for frags, but he's like the strongest member of this team right now, and so he needs to stop dying 1v1, and he needs to start playing as a team and helping his team win the game. They just got Baron though. You could say Ez was the bait for that, which was good, but they didn't have it warded at all. Tara didn't even stomp a ward, I don't think, so that was pretty bad by the enemy team. If they hadn't known they were doing Baron, the enemy team may have mopped up 2 or 3 kills there, and that would not have been worth it, even if they may have even had Baron stolen, I don't know. So yeah, Ez needs to be a bit more careful. He has Amumu now, we're at 21 minutes exactly, and Amumu has got his Aegis. Looking at the team, no one else on the team has an Aegis. Double Aegis is not as bad as people think. If you think about, like, a few months ago, Double Wota, Double War of the Ancients was really, really, flavour of the month. It got nerfed because it was too flavour of the month. Spellvamp in general was very, very popular. And Double Wota wasn't questioned. It was almost like expected for you to have 2 warriors on the team. But then when you start building double Aegis, like jungler and support, or jungler and top, or top support, will both get an Aegis, people are like, dude, you got 2 Aegis. You're wasting your money. And it's not, I don't know why people thought that. It's the same concept as Warrior. If you get the 2 people with the Aegis both get the aura. So if Amumu and Taric had the Aegis, they'd be getting 2 auras. Both of them would have 2 auras on them. No one else would have 2 auras, because the aura itself is unique. But if you think of it from the point of view where you yourself get the item plus its aura, like, as its own effect, and then any other auras are unique. So if 3 people had an Aegis, you'd still only get 2 aura effects. That might be a bit complicated. I might not explain that very well, but anyway, moving on. They're pushing down mid here, and like I said, I did say expect them to be making a lot of plays now that they got the towers down. They took Baron, and now they're pushing really hard as a team, which is pretty good. Once you get Baron, you do want to push. It's really good to actually push like top or bot when you've got Baron, because those lanes are longer and it gives you more room to actually fight. There's not really much room to fight when you're in mid lane, and these guys really do want to be forcing a fight. They can blow up some people with the combination of Amumu ult, Vlad ult, and then just their strong carries, and this is not good. Face checking, that was kind of silly. They knew the team wasn't top because they're not top. They can see that they're not top, but whatever. Ez is using his ult to clear up bot, which is probably a good idea. It's got such a low cooldown. Yeah, he's level 14 rank 2. It's got a pretty low cooldown, so it's not that bad an idea. But I don't think it was necessary. They had like 1 wave on the tower. Right, we'll see what goes here. We'll see what he focuses, how he chooses to use his ult here. He's just engaged onto Ali, which isn't the best start. He's kind of just getting owned a little bit. He's not even going to get to... Okay, that was... I don't think there really was a great time to ult in that fight, and that was a bit of a waste. I don't think he needed to ult at all there. The way that fight went, Jax kind of just owned the carries. Orianna was dead for a start, and Graves just got owned by Malphite. And he's just been ignited, but I think he's okay. Okay, he's okay. But yeah, like I say, with that ult, I don't think that was really a good time to use it. I don't think he needed to use it. But because he's so squishy, he's having to go back here. Even with that Baron regen, he just took way too much damage and he had to go back. But his team seems to be mopping up really, really well. I don't know whether this game is a victory or not. I tend to do more like losses, but having said that, no offense to you, Amumu. Obviously, the harsher I am, it's all in like, the aims of improvement, all that stuff, you know, gives me an excuse to be horrible. But Amumu's probably been their weakest player in this game. So there's definitely a lot he could have improved on. This game would probably be a 20-minute surrender if Mumu had played a bit better, but his team's really getting caught out a bit here. And if Mumu hadn't used his ult, or like wasted his ult, he could catch some people off guard. Like, he could flash over the wall, do some crazy plays, bandage toss, like catch Graves or something with that ult, but instead they're not really going to get anyone. Their team's just going really gung-ho, really Rambo. It says Ezreal's the main culprit again, no surprises there. Gets fed, thinks he can take on the world, and ends up with a pretty high death toll. Vlad uses pull aggressively, so this could be very... Alright, no one's around, it's cool. It's a risky play, but whatever. No one's around, it's fine. Mumu now is getting another free blue buff. This is a good thing, where this game he's been behind, but he's got a lot of buffs. He's got all of his own blue buffs because Vlad doesn't need it. Why is he? Let's take it and run then. Okay. Grazer's red buff, this could be ugly. He'll be... Whoa! He's run into a cow. It's called the mad cow disease. Go on, Ez, help him out. Use your ult, Mumu. Use your ult. Ult. Yeah, okay, good ult, my friend. He got both of them in the ult right there. That was a really good play, there you go. Mumu just, you know, master tactician. Doing the baits. Double kill for Ezreal. And look at that minion wave bot. That is a huge, huge minion wave. If this tower, if they don't get at least one, maybe even two towers here, they should be able to do that. The team should be moving over to bot. It looks like Ez may find himself in a sticky situation, but really, Orianna's the one in a sticky situation. And they didn't get anything out of that. I don't know what happened there. They should have been out. Okay, they're gonna get that tower, I think. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool getting that tower, and it goes down. But Malphite's decided he wants to split push. Malphite's not the greatest split pusher at all. Mumu's just left to clear up, and Malphite can't take out Mumu. His items, he's double gold for 10, and then he's building armor. Mumu does like next to no physical damage. And he's 2 levels down on Mumu, so Malphite has to run away. And Mumu, I think it might be worth just pushing out this top. If I were Mumu, I would have just pushed out top, so I don't think his team's in any threat of anything happening. He wants to go and group with his teammates, which I would say is probably, you know, all the decisions this guy could be making, grouping with his team is probably the least dangerous. Like, it's not a bad idea. Okay, Baron just spawned. Baron spawned. I find it actually, I'm a bit of a moron because, you know, I was kind of taking the mick out of these guys saying no one will be aware for Dragon when it respawns, and Dragon should have respawned at like, what was it, 2011 or something like that, and it's now 25:52. Yeah, so I was not paying any attention to that. I didn't time Baron either, but nor did these guys. They're just kind of waiting for when it like spawns like on their map, and then like, oh, Baron's up, which is not great. I mean, but the problem is, if they'd been aware when the timer was when they took Baron, remember the enemy team didn't even see them take Baron, so they definitely didn't have a time on it. If they had timed Baron, instead of loitering around a like bot lane pushed up to the inhib tower, they could have been ready at Baron and they could have taken this by now. The enemy team was pretty quick on getting over to it, but they have a lot of damage. Especially like Vlad his cooldowns are very, very low now, so his sustained damage is crazy. So that really helps for Baron. Jax, again, same thing. Ez has just always been strong. But we'll see what happens here. They should just fight. Malphite is the weakest thing in the history of mankind. Not very rock solid whatsoever. He just shatters right there completely. Report Malphite, says Alistair. Not a very kind thing to say to your teammate. What a horrible thing to say. Never seen such rudeness. And here we go. This is just... I presume this is just going to be GG very, very soon. They're just picking these people off willy-nilly. They got Baron, they got a few kills. Mid's in a good place. They don't even need... At this point in the game, they don't need any creeps to do anything. Even the amount of damage they have, even Ez could tank these, face tank these towers, and they'd kill them. Jax could tank them because Jax is probably tankier than a Amumu. Taric is probably tankier than a Amumu. But look at that, tower doesn't stand a chance. And if they're not careful, they could be getting engaged on here by a Amumu, and Amumu, he's still got his ult up, so we'll see what happens. They're just going to do a clean sweep of the base. This isn't really a bad tactic whatsoever. This tower's really low anyway, so. But when they've got a lot of members up, it's hard to push down Nexus towers, especially when like creep waves spawn, because then you have 3 lots of creep waves. This Orianna's positioning is atrocious. This could be really strong if he ults. Okay, that was a really good ult by Amumu. And 3 guys that see. That was probably the best ult Amumu's got all game. I think the only time he's really ulted and hit more than one person. Well, he hasn't really had to ult a lot this game, but he ulted and he hit 2 people like that Malphite and Graves. No, someone in Graves with that beta drag. But there, when you get a good Amumu ult off, then it's really strong, and that is GG. There's the victory. Yeah. Well, that's the end of the recording anyway. So I'll go over the general stuff. I think that game. I'm sorry that game was a victory, you guys. Actually, I'm not sorry. I take it back. I ain't sorry. I regret nothing because I think there was a lot you could take away from that game. He didn't play overly well. He wasn't like. If the team had lost, would I say that he was the reason they lost? Probably not. I would have said, Jax with the way that he kind of played the lane a bit poorly. Amumu just kind of like, he got dealt a crap hand, and, he didn't play that hand very well. Like, I think he tried to do too much in that game. This is like the improvements Amumu should have made. When you're behind, just farm. There's no need to try and make loads of plays. Just farm and counter gank, because counter ganking is, it's kind of difficult as a concept to begin with, because you have to be aware of like what, you have to kind of think from in the enemy's perspective. It might seem very daunting, that concept at the moment, me saying that here, but don't worry, it's fine. You get used to it. You just basically think, if I were this guy, what would he be doing? Like, if, for example, Jax was dominating Riven and Jax was under the Riven's tower all the time, Malphite would most likely be going top. So, if you ward the enemy like Wraiths or something, and then you see where Malphite is around that area, and then you can like shuffle, Mumu could have shuffled over to top and like be prepared to counter gank. If Malphite wasn't so far behind that game as well as Amumu, he probably would have tried to do more bot. And that's kind of why bot got out of control. So there's no real excuse for like, if you're playing solo queue, you do not want to do what Graves and Alice did, which was to lose hands down, without any like jungle pressure or like mid roaming. Like, they just lost 2v2. There's really no excuse to die when you're just 2 on 2. Unless you've been heavily counterpicked. But even then, you should just be playing very safe. They must have just like failed pretty hard, bot lane, Graves and Ali. But that's kind of like the worst case scenario. And because Malphite was so far behind, it was a really easy game for Ezreal. I think Ez looked like the kind of player which would be really easy to gank as well, because he was very aggressive, gun-ho, and a bit dumb in his aggression. And so players like that, even though they look like they're playing well and they look like they're very, really strong and stuff like that, you can still easily outplay them because they're not really thinking straight. When they get that fed, then they start doing really kind of dumb things. But anyway, where else he could improve on? His build was, I think I would have gone more gold per 10 if I were him. He bought double Dorans, and I would have gone heart of gold, because he wasn't getting a lot of money from creeps, because he didn't farm the jungle very effectively. He didn't manage his time very well, and so if he'd had that gold per 10 ticking, it wouldn't have mattered that much late game. Like I said, that double Dorans wasn't great, but everything after that was okay. If he'd have gone Sork Boots, I would have said that was a bit of a bad decision, but the Ninja Tabby was a good pickup, I think. Riven was pretty fed. Graves wasn't going to do anything to him really, but there wasn't really any need to get anything else, so that was fine, just getting Ninja Tabby. And he got Aegis. Aegis is always a good item. I'm in love with that item. It's behind me, Aegis of the Legion, so I'm always going to recommend that. But in all seriousness, it was a good pickup in that time because aura items are just strong anyway. So you know, if you can't contribute a lot yourself, I say this when I'm playing Shaco. If I'm behind when I'm on Shaco, then I'll consider building more aura items because even if you can't do much yourself to the enemy, you can at least help the teammates out by with auras. So that was good. And then he built a Sunfire Cape. There was nothing really wrong with that, I guess. Gave him a bit of health, a bit more damage, all that stuff. He didn't really need to be too tanky because like no one, but in the team fights, it was kind of just like who'd blow up first. There wasn't really any major team fights in a sense because it was more like, I mean, his team was just a bit too strong for like any team fights like that to be going awry. But he wasn't overly tanky at all, so he could have got blown up pretty easy. But no one focused him, and Ez was just too much of an issue. No one would even think to focus on Amumu with Ezra running around like that. I will say as well, like his Jax. I'm gonna say, like, this Jax is the kind of player which I don't mind having on my team because he didn't rage, like he didn't stop raging at Mumu, like why aren't you ganking top? And he still like played decent like mid-late game. He was very useful still, which is really good. As long as your teammates are useful, then it's really easy to carry. It's a lot easier to carry, sorry, I should say. But anyway, what Amumu did well. Well, he won. That's always a good start. But he didn't rage, was a good thing. This may sound a bit cliche, but he didn't rage at Jax, who was just losing on his own. Ezreal was getting caught out left, right, and centre. Vlad didn't ward his lane, and so he'd get ganked a lot. He didn't get any help from Jax either at level 2, but he didn't rage. He just kind of like soldiered on, Little Knight Amumu, and he just, you know, he got on with the game. But yeah, and he just said good things to his team, which really helped. It really does help. It makes a big difference in solo queue. No one was mad. What else did he do well? He landed his pretty clutch bandage tosses actually in certain situations, which really helps like team fights and stuff like that. And he did, I think, in regards to his ulti, he probably did more. I think he did more good ultis than he did bad ultis. Especially right at the end, even though like the game was pretty much over, but he landed an ult on 4 people and 3 people died instantly right next to the fountain, the spawn fountain. So that may sound, like, oh, but his team was so fed at that point. It doesn't matter. The game was over. It's like, well, yeah, that's true, but it's still a good trait to have, good habit to have to be able to close out games. In that instance, in that situation, it probably didn't matter, but like, if he had landed a ult like that, 10 minutes earlier, then that game would have been over 10 minutes earlier, pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes. When you've got, that ult is just, if you're behind and you get a really clutch ult off, then it's game changing. If you're ahead and you get a clutch ult off, then it's game, like, crippling. That's pretty much how Mumu, so works, and Malphite as well. But yeah, apart from, things like timing, he didn't. He bought a decent amount of wars, which was okay. And his oracles, he didn't need. I would not have bought oracles in his situation, but at the same time, it's difficult to say because I wouldn't have been that behind because I would not have, focused so much on ganking when I was so far behind. But yeah, I've talked quite a lot. This video, again. This was Marmakil, I believe his YouTube channel is Marmakil23. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But yeah, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Thank you very much for donating me your clip. You guys have sent me quite a lot of replays in my email. You can send me those at foxdrop@gmail.com. Or maybe that's foxdroplol@gmail.com. Not sure. It's on my YouTube channel. Just send me an email with your LOL replay files. I can't actually do commentaries of LOL replay files themselves at the moment because of the way my PC is a bell end. So this is the only way I can do them, but I will I'll try to do all the replays I get. I obviously can't promise anything. I do get quite a few requests. I'm really sorry if I can't do all your replays, but I will definitely try my hardest to get them all out. But anyway, that was that. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you have any questions, anything like that, do leave them in the comments, because then other people can see the questions and my answers. Or you can just message me as well. I always get back to your questions and your messages and stuff like that. Thank you for the support I've been getting recently. It's really nice. I do appreciate that as well. I'm glad I can be of service. I'm glad I can be helping you guys out. And yeah, so check this guy's YouTube out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.